happens, I can run to another computer here. Like I did 2 meetings ago.
Oh, then.
Come on.
Start.
Now we got 6 seconds left.
Mine hasn't changed yet.
6 o'clock, exactly.
I got 6 o'clock.
Exactly.
All right, meeting of Van Buren Board of Trustees is called to order. I will do the Pledge of Allegiance and you guys can listen along. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It's so hard when you have 9 people talk with computer microphones. They cut in and out everybody and you can't even hear it. The executive summary is simple. We're here to discuss the possibility of putting on a renewal for our 6.5 mil public safety millage. And I will leave it at that and move on to new business. I have one item of discussion, which is discussion on and to consider approval of resolution 2014 placement of a public safety millage renewal proposal, placing it on the November 3rd, 2020 general election budget. I'm going to ask for a motion like we always do, I guess.
You gotta adopt the agenda.
Are you gonna,
We do a
approve
roll,
the agenda?
a roll call.
Remember that.
We
Okay.
need to do a roll call too, though.
Yes. Slow your roll, Kevin.
Mr. Chair,
All right.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as published.
Ho.
What?
Let's
Wait a
bag
minute.
up.
Roll
Let's
call.
bag
right?
up.
Roll call for,
Let's do a roll call first.
Yeah. All right. Clerk, would you do roll? Sorry.
Okay, Trustee White. Trustee
Present.
White.
Here.
Trustee Miller. Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
I'm here.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Treasurer Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor.
Here.
We all are here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I, I've already read over the executive summary. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Supervisor, I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
Support. Support.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's good enough. Public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Please, moderator.
We do. Yep, I'm gonna allow Lamar to talk.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Lamar Weir from Congresswoman Dingell's office. I'm just here to listen in to see if there are any important community updates, if there are any events, just to be a part of the conversation. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Welcome. Fans. Thank you. I did have a discussion with Congressman today and about some of the grant opportunities that are coming down the pipeline. A lot of the ones that we're waiting for, it looks like they're going to get stalled until next year, but yeah, we're keeping an eye on them. Is there anybody else from the public?
No virtual hands are raised at this time.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go on to new business. I've already read the item. Is there anybody that wants to make a motion and read the item also? Okay. Well, want to go to discussion first and then go to a motion? Yes, I'm going to go to discussion first.
Oh, bashful.
I will make actually, I'm going to stay with
You can make the motion.
I would, yeah, and I'll second the motion since I'm allowed to do that. All right. Would you like to read the motion?
Yes, Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion on the discussion on and to consider approval of resolution 2020-14, placement of a public safety millage renewal proposal on the November 3rd, 2020 general election ballot.
Thank you. I guess I'm the one that's probably going to be making
Are you seconding it?
pardon me? I am seconding it. Thank you. Okay, basically, I've always believed this, and I felt that when people try and sneak things in the middle of the night by having tax issues voted on by people in March and April and in primaries, I think that's just wrong. I believe that taxation issues should always be decided by the greatest percentage of the public out there. This November's presidential election obviously will afford a decision by the vast majority of our electorate. We're not sneaking any renewal in through a low turnout election. This will afford the people the best opportunity for all of the people to speak on this issue. That is why I'm asking to approve it at this time. There are other reasons, of course. If we wait to the gubernatorial, it'll be 1 year and out. Then this taxation, this 6.5 mil renewal will have left on it. That's going to do two things. One is it's going to make it a must that we get it through, or else we're trying to get it passed in the same year we're going to lose it. And two, plays havoc with our credit rating. I've gone back in the credit reports for umpteen years in this township, and they all pretty much say the same thing. We are dependent upon the landfill. We have a Visteon issue out there, and we have a public safety millage. Whenever one of these things looks like it's a little bit off, they flag it big time. This is $6 million of our $8.5 million public safety budget, $8.5 million of public safety. This is $6.1 million of it. If the credit ratings see that we do not have an approval and we only have 1 year left of guaranteed income on it, they're going to sock us. I would like to make sure that over the next 2 years, because in 2 years we are going to be having some issues, it's not issues, we are going to have some abilities to rebond or to go out for bonding. I want to make sure that we are as stable as possible at that time. And so that's where, that's the other reason I'd like to do this. Ms. Miller, you made the motion, so you can start.
So I want the residents to understand, Supervisor, we have 3 years left on this millage. So why now are we going out for it now? When there's 3 years left, I think we owe the residents an explanation, since we're just coming off the primary, why we're doing this 3 years out.
Two reasons. One is I want to make sure the most amount of people can vote on it as possible. So that means you're in a presidential or a gubernatorial. And if you wait 2 years for the gubernatorial election to run this,
To get it passed, is what you're saying.
Then it needs to pass. I have said over and over, and I get kicked sometimes by people in the board and other places, I don't believe in any new taxes. I don't believe we need any new taxes. But I've always made it very clear, you cannot live without that 6.5 mil public safety mill and that 0.9 mil operating tax. That's all you get, 7.4 mils. You are the second lowest taxes in Wayne County. My hat's off to Sumter. I don't know how Sumter does it. Sumter's actually the lowest, but I think you've got to hit Ohio border before you're going to find anybody that's lower than us. So, and I don't know how far north or east or west you've got to go. You got to be in Canada before you find somebody, probably not even Canada. There's nobody lower than us east of us. Wayne County, we're lower than everybody but Sumter. So you're not going to be able to lower these taxes anymore, but you need these two things to continue living. Anything else, Ms. Miller?
Yes, I just like to add that without having proper public safety, our homeowners, our people that live here, and even attracting businesses will be tougher if we don't have our crime under control. And we have safe environments, safe neighborhoods for our residents. So we need to look at that hard.
When we started this thing 4 years ago, we had a 22-year-old ladder truck that the state of Michigan wouldn't even let us use. We had two 18-year-old fire trucks that were so bad that we were lucky to keep them both running. We were running with one man in 2 fire stations because we didn't have people that would even work for us because we had such crud. We had a real problem around here. We have rebuilt fire. It has got to be the most modern fire department in the state of Michigan now because we bought a new ladder truck. We bought 2 new fire trucks. We've rebuilt the fire stations, both of them. We've redone their turnout gear. We've brought full-time fire in. So now we're 100%, at least 50% of our firefighters. We have 6 full-time firefighters. So now we always have both fire stations fully manned, although we augment it with a large part-time force, which is very cost effective. Now, police, we rebuilt the dispatch center. We have spent this money wisely building up our own public safety.
And one more thing, and maybe Chief Wright can answer this. How has this millage affected the call rates on time, response times is what I'm trying to say.
Chief Wright?
Am I there?
Yes.
Yep.
I couldn't get the unmute button. Sorry about that. Good evening, board. It's nice to see everybody. How it affects is staffing. So if we did not have this funding, we obviously would not be able to staff the police department or the fire department properly. If we had any less funding, it impacts our manpower abilities, and without manpower, you can't go on runs. You know, I mean, you just don't, you know, they can back up. You need the manpower to be able to handle the call volumes. So the existing public safety millage is critical to our operations. It funds how we provide service. And we provide service by people. It's dispatchers answering the phone. It's officers working on the lake on the weekends in the summer so that we have a police presence on our lake. It's officers patrolling the neighborhoods. It's us answering alarm runs. It's us answering calls for service and writing reports and making arrests and keeping it safe, you know. So the money that comes in from the public safety millage helps fund and make it work.
And again, we pay 7.4. We look at our neighbors. Romulus is around 22, 23 mils. We're 7.4. Westland's around 25 mils, I believe. We're 7.4. Canton's around 12 or 13, I believe. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure it's around 12 or 13. We're 7.4. Livonia is up around 20. We're 7.4. I'm telling you that we've really done well here keeping those numbers down.
Through the chair.
Yes, Trustee Martin.
My question is, we want to extend this to 7 years at the current rate. What happens in 3 or 4 years when the price of fuel goes up or costs go up, inflation? How are we going to maintain our level of service for 3 or 4 years down the road?
We're going to have to work harder just to do that. What Headley does is basically says you get 6.5 mils, and then as cost of living hits, they reduce it. So this number actually comes down to 6.39 or something. If you want to raise that rate, you can through a vote of the people. But I've got Angela here. But you can't use the word renewal now. So you can't say this is a renewal to the people unless you keep it exactly where it's at. Angela, you want anything to say on that? Because
yes, thank you, Supervisor. So because the approval in 2016 was at the 6.5 mils, because of Headley, as the supervisor indicated, it's been rolled back to 6.3931. We could have opted to try and add in the extra 10 because you can do less than, if you're adding on less than 0.5 mils. The revenue though on 1/10 of a mil is not going to be as significant as it is going to be on the full 6.3931 that we'd be looking to renew at.
that's something I probably should add. 1 mil means different things to different communities. 1 mil in Van Buren world is $950,000. So 1/10 is $95,000 that we lost. We do try to hold Van Buren Township's Police Department to 2%. And the reason we try to use the 2% number, 2 to 3% is what the numbers we try to hold all departments to. The reason we try and hold them to that is because so long as we're doing our job and creating wealth for our residents by having their homes go up in value, by maintaining, by having a clean, safe community, that's where we actually make the money to make up that money, that extra 2 or 3% that we have to come up with.
Through the chair.
Yes, Clerk Wright?
And also, Kevin, Trustee Martin, if I'm not mistaken, we did raise the millage. I don't know if it was the last time, but it was currently, it was for, what was it, 4.5?
It was.
Here. We increased it to 6.5 mil. So we recently increased it. So I don't think it's a good idea to talk about increasing it again at this time. I'm okay with putting it on the November election. I think it is the best time to put it out to the people. As long as you're not aware of nothing else coming from the county or nothing like that, are you, Supervisor?
No, the county actually ran its tax millages at us in the primary.
I do not want a 3-page ballot, but
No, we don't want that.
that's the only other thing you have to think about. But I'm okay with this. It should be, I think the county did just run there, so it should be enough room on the backside to put this millage request, so a renewal.
Through the chair.
Trustee Martin?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just looking into the future, 3 or 4 years down the road. Where do we expect to be? Now, yeah, we're gonna have to tighten our belt and keep an eye on what we have, but 7 years is a long time to budget on this
Agreed.
amount. That's all I'm saying. I'm in favor of it. We have upgraded, like you said, we've upgraded our facilities, we've upgraded our equipment. Our people are very well trained, fire and police. But I'm just looking into beyond the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, I can tell you one place we would be saving money and actually would be cutting money is you just pumped about $3 million into police and fire over the last 3 years to upgrade that hadn't been upgraded in 20 years. To augment that, we are putting what $100,000 in fire and I think about $100,000 or $100 or $200,000 a year into police for new vehicles, new capital equipment, and things like that. That's $300,000 a year. Yeah, that hurts, but it sure is a lot easier than hitting us for $3 million like we did the last 3 years. So by building a good, strong infrastructure like you did, it'll be a little cheaper, hopefully, to maintain it.
It makes sense.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Supervisor, I'd just like to say I'm all for it because public safety is the #1 thing that new community members look for when they move into a new community. And we're fortunate that we have leadership at the police and fire level to lead us in a direction that is forward thinking and proactive. So I'm all for it.
Okay, so
Through the chair,
Commissioner Bud.
I guess I would also like to respond to Don or to Kevin Martin's concern. If down the road we found out we were in desperate situation, if it ever got that bad, we could go back to the people. So it wouldn't mean that we would hope that, I mean, that's not what we're planning on doing. We hope that with this millage extension, we should be okay. And it will guarantee that our public safety department is in place. And I would agree that it should go on the ballot.
Through the chair?
Trustee Miller.
We're trying to get this thing renewed ahead of time so we don't have to worry about it down the line. I understand that. But what we have to do next, and if this doesn't happen, it's back to the drawing board. Our goal is to get the taxpayers on board with this and to support and move forward with that. So we'll need everyone's help in getting that word out and making sure that it passes in November. just because it's an election year, it's presidential, doesn't mean it's a slam dunk. We can't take anything for granted, or else we're all going to be working a lot harder to get it passed for the next few years. Just want to make that point.
I agree.
Does anybody else have any comments? Hearing none, I have a motion by trustee Miller, supported by Kevin McNamara. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, Supervisor. I'm sorry to interrupt. Now, you had 3 options. Did we decide on which option we're gonna go for? Or is that
The
to
same
be?
thing earlier.
I had about 40 pieces of paper going back and forth with Angela Marino, so the option, so I don't know what went into the package, but I knew I needed to get you guys scheduled for today. So I don't know what you guys got, because I was going back and forth with the lawyers. I will read out the one that the wording that works for me is the fact that it says right in the very first line that it says this is a public safety millage renewal. As a renewal of a previously authorized millage. That's the one that that's the wording I want, and I guess I could read it.
So it'd be option 1.
Is that option
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right. I don't need to read it.
That should be the one with, that's the one with the pack in the packet.
Well, what that means, I'm sorry, Supervisor, is that since it is a renewal, this would time out, this would end, and then the next one would start in 2024, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So, all right, just want to be sure that everybody knows that, including our resident.
Clerk, do I need to read this? I got muted. I'm
Not
unmuted.
really.
Clerk, do I need to read it? No, I don't. Good.
No.
Because I don't want to. All right. Okay, one last time. Does anybody else want to comment on this? Hearing none. Hearing none, clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes, okay. Trustee White,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
treasurer Bud. Sherry on mute.
See, it's not just us.
Sherry,
There's
raise your
wiggle room
hand.
there.
She's still muted.
Sherry votes yes. Clerk, yes. Supervisor.
Yes.
Say
Motion
yes,
passes.
Sherry.
Thank you.
Yes, got it off.
We got your smoke signal.
Can you give me, I'm going to give you a call after this meeting, okay? To see what our next step is. We need to get this into the clerk, I'm sure, right away. Which is why we have a special meeting, because it's got to be to the clerk pretty quick. Next item is public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have anybody from the public, moderator?
Supervisor, I'm not seeing any virtual hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Public comment for anybody from the board wishing to make a comment. Trustee
Through the
Marshall.
chair. Yes, I want to commend the clerk's office, his staff, his election, his poll workers and precinct workers. They did an excellent job, as they always do. They do a great job. We got our results in I think, a timely manner, considering the, what was it, almost 6,000 AVs, clerk, right?
Right about 6,000. I'm gonna give you a cap. I'm gonna give you a recap in a minute.
But they did a great job, and I just wanted everyone to know that.
They did. Hear,
Thank you.
hear.
Supervisor.
Clerk Wright.
Yes, they did. They did an outstanding job. So the people, my poll workers at the polls, they did an outstanding job. My AV counting board processed 5,698 absentee ballots.
Wow.
It was 2,348, I believe, at the poll, totaling 8,010 voters. A new world record. No, I'm just kidding. A new township record. A new township record. Most ballots ever cast on the primary ever in Van Buren Township.
Wow.
It's outstanding to I mean, congratulate the voters. Everyone that helped and put out the word, the trustees that helped and put out the word to get the people to turn in their ballots on time. And it was just, it's a good thing to see democracy at work. Everybody getting the opportunity to vote. It proves that absentee voting do work. I think the Secretary of State is going to come on one day and talk about that here in the current future. That it does work, it can work, and we're going to do it again in November. So look, I'm pretty sure it's going to be another record in November. So it works. It gives people opportunity to vote, and they will without any resistance. So kudos to my staff. Yeah, they did an outstanding job. I think even with a record number, this was one of the most processed, easily driven election that I probably ran. I mean, we can get to, and I thank the board. I want to thank the board for allowing me to purchase the stuff I need. You guys support elections. I appreciate it. You give me the opportunity, supervisor, you and the trustee, you give me the opportunity to purchase what I need without any hassle, and that's what it takes to keep up with the trend and be able to offer and run a good election for the people. And it proves it. So I appreciate it.
Supervisor,
Frazier.
I'd just like to thank the clerk and his staff for running a great election and keeping us on task and keeping up with the demand. But most of all, I'd like to thank the residents who take a democracy seriously and make their voices heard by going to the ballot box. That's what it's all about, voting in a democracy. So
Right.
the residents that take time to do that, they need to be complimented.
Right. And we have great residents. We had no concerns. You know, I know we thought we might have some concerns, Chief Wright. We thought we might have to call you. We talked about it regarding masks. We had no really concern. Maybe one or two people came in without a mask covering, but other than that, I think one or two out of what, 20, almost 2,400. I take that. So no problems at all.
Anybody else want to speak? No? Okay, hearing none. We're moving into adjournment. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Support.
Who says support, right? Okay, hearing no
Retired.
dissension, we are adjourned.
It was Sherry that supported,
I
just
said it.
saying.
I don't know. I looked
We
down.
both said it. That's okay.
Those guys got to stick together.
Angela,
Rich.
give me
What
a
can you
call in a
say?
minute. Okay, Kevin.
Girl power.
Go have a good evening.
Really in control, guys. Just make sure you know that.
Go.
All right.